If you've ever loved a Sagittarius, you know what it feels like to love an arrow flying across the sky. No one knows where it will land, but in the moment it passes through your life, everything lights up. Sagittarius doesn't love the way most people do. They love with a thirst for something greater, with spontaneous laughter in the middle of a journey, and with a restless passion that never lets you feel bored, but also never quite full. Don't ask them how long they'll stay, because to Sagittarius, love isn't about holding on, it's about moving forward together. And if you get lost, they won't pull you back, they'll simply turn and whisper, "If you truly want to, you'll find your way to me." Sagittarius was not born to stay still, but to open paths, ignite flames, and turn every moment into a journey worth living. Sagittarius love is an adventure, with no map, no guarantee of safety, but full of sincerity and brilliance. They don't love to belong, they love to grow together. And along the way, you'll glimpse another world inside them, a soul that's both wild and disarmingly kind. And in this video, we'll explore when Sagittarius falls in love with the 12 zodiac signs. What sparks the flame? What brings the challenge? And who might be the one to make a Sagittarius heart want to pause, if only once in a lifetime? Stay with us until the end so you don't miss a single sign. 1. Sagittarius and Aries. When fire meets fire. When Sagittarius meets Aries, it's not just love, it's an explosion. Both are fire signs, fueled by passion, impulsive choices, and a total disregard for the idea of slow down and think. They love like a race, not to outrun each other, but to run side by side at the same pace, in the same direction. Aries sees in Sagittarius a kindred spirit, bold, free, and unafraid of risk. Sagittarius, in turn, is drawn to Aries' blazing honesty, direct, unfiltered, and as sincere as a child. But between two flames, there always comes a moment of still air. That's when the real challenge begins. Who will pause to heal when one of them gets hurt? Who will stay when the other needs to wander alone? This couple can only last if they learn one essential truth. Love isn't just about sharing dreams. It's about being present when the dream begins to fall apart. If they can face that together, they'll become one of those rare pairs, neither trying to hold the other back, yet always finding their way back to each other, like a rendezvous written in the stars. 2. Sagittarius and Taurus. Between wildness and staying still. The love between Sagittarius and Taurus is a meeting between a soul that refuses to stop and one that only feels safe standing still. Sagittarius wants to fly, Taurus wants to root. One loves through stories from the road, the other through quiet daily rituals. To Taurus, Sagittarius is like a strange wind, stirring their heart, reminding them that life still holds magic. To Sagittarius, Taurus is the first calm they've ever met, a place so steady it almost unsettles them. But differences begin to show like cracks in a mirror. When Sagittarius charges ahead, Taurus grows anxious. When Taurus longs for clear promises, Sagittarius falls silent, unsure how to promise something they're not certain they can keep. This love can only last if Taurus learns how to love someone who doesn't belong to anyone, and Sagittarius learns how to stay, not because they're held back, but because they choose to remain. When both realize that freedom doesn't always mean leaving, and stability doesn't always mean chains, they'll create a truly rare kind of love. Just enough wind to fly, just enough ground to rest. 3. Sagittarius and Gemini. Between two horizons. When Sagittarius and Gemini meet, it's like laughter echoing through an unfamiliar city. Both are wanderers of thought and of feeling. One craves truth, the other is intoxicated by discovery. They're drawn to each other through conversations that stretch deep into the night, through the way their eyes light up at the mention of something new. To Sagittarius, Gemini is a mirror, reflecting their boundless curiosity. Gemini, Sagittarius is the first person who ever made them feel that freedom could also carry depth. But it's precisely because they're so alike that they're also most likely to lose track of each other. Gemini shifts like the wind, Sagittarius moves like an arrow. Neither stays still long enough to hear the quiet fears beneath the surface. Neither wants to admit that behind all their carefree spirit, both are afraid. Afraid of being tied down, and just as afraid of being left behind. This love won't last if they keep running side by side without ever truly looking at each other. They need to learn how to pause, not just to admire, but to be present. When Sagittarius slows just a beat, and Gemini dares to dive a little deeper, they'll come to realize some people don't enter your life to hold you back, but to help you learn how to hold on to what truly matters. 4. Sagittarius and Cancer. One lives outside, one lives within. The love between a Sagittarius and a Cancer feels like a meeting between someone always looking outward and someone always turning inward. Sagittarius loves with their feet. They long to go, to explore, to belong nowhere and everywhere. Cancer loves with their heart. They want to attach, to stay, to build a warm home amid life's storms. When they fall in love, they're curious, like two children from different planets. Sagittarius finds in Cancer something they once lost, the feeling of being waited for. Cancer sees in Sagittarius a light, wild yet honest, that makes them believe in opening up again. But then reality seeps in. Sagittarius begins to feel tied down by emotions that seem too fragile. Cancer begins to feel left behind by adventures with no promised return. Without enough understanding, Sagittarius may feel guilty for wanting to leave, and Cancer may blame themselves for not being exciting enough to make them stay. This love can only last if both learn to love without expectation. Cancer must learn that love isn't about holding someone tight, it's about making them want to come home. Sagittarius must understand that the most beautiful kind of freedom is the one that always knows where it belongs. And if they both learn that, theirs will be a love full of paradoxes, but softer and more tender than anything else in this world. 5. Sagittarius and Leo, two flame who want to be seen. When Sagittarius and Leo fall in love, it's a full-blown light show, radiant, dazzling, with no one willing to turn the lights off. Both adore life, laughter, and the admiration they draw from one another. They wrap around each other like two performers in a crowded plaza, unafraid to show emotion, unafraid to make love visible. To Sagittarius, Leo is a charismatic companion, proud, warm, and never fading into the background. To Leo, Sagittarius is a wind they can't hold, but one that makes their heart race like nothing else. And yet too much light can also blind. Leo needs to be seen, to be recognized, to be the lead in their love story. But Sagittarius doesn't want to be the lead. They just want the freedom to write their own script. Without enough sensitivity, Sagittarius may unintentionally make Leo feel overlooked. Without enough subtlety, Leo may overwhelm Sagittarius with expectations of devotion. This love will either blaze brilliantly or burn out fast, unless they learn to give each other light instead of fighting to keep it. When Sagittarius learns to pause and listen, and Leo understands that not everyone who steps out of frame has forgotten them, they'll create a love that's both explosive and unforgettable, like a summer sunset you never truly get over. 6. Sagittarius and Virgo, when the map meets the wind. The love between Sagittarius and Virgo is a constant conversation between why not and why. Virgo lives in a world of details, of plans, of everything that can be tracked and measured. Sagittarius lives by inspiration, by untried things, always letting their heart chart the course. When they fall in love, they're like two people gazing at the same horizon. One wants to draw a precise map to reach it, while the other simply needs to know they're moving. To Virgo, Sagittarius is both a mystery and a thrill, offering a kind of freedom they've always craved but never dared to fully live. To Sagittarius, Virgo is a mirror that makes them pause and wonder, is spontaneity enough to make someone stay? But love isn't easy for this pair. Virgo often finds themselves cleaning up the messes left behind by Sagittarius's carefree spirit. Sagittarius, in turn, finds themselves questioned about things they've never even considered, like why they changed their mind at the last minute. Without patience, they'll end up wounding each other with the very traits that drew them together. But if they grow enough to stop trying to fix one another and instead learn how to truly listen, Virgo will discover that sometimes life needs a sudden detour, and Sagittarius will come to realize that freedom doesn't always mean constant motion, but also the ability to stop in the right place. In that moment, their love might not be perfect, but it could become a one-of-a-kind map, one only the two of them know how to read. 7. Sagittarius and Libra, beautiful, light, and not always enough. When Sagittarius meets Libra, love begins like an endless conversation, witty, charming, and full of curiosity. Libra loves with grace, with a gaze that balances everything, with an inner beauty few can match. Sagittarius loves with blunt honesty, with a hunger for experience, with big questions no one can quite answer. When they're together, they create a space that's just comfortable enough, just intriguing enough, No one controls, no one clings. To Libra, Sagittarius is a fresh breeze blowing through soft-spoken rules. To Sagittarius, Libra is a world of order, but never boring. And yet, sometimes too much gentleness becomes distance. Sagittarius keeps moving forward while Libra lingers at emotional crossroads. One doesn't want to be tied down, the other doesn't want to cause pain, and so both end up saying nothing. This love will quietly fade if neither takes the lead, if both keep waiting for the other to understand without daring to speak. But if they're brave enough to choose each other, not because it's logical, but because it feels true, they might discover something rare. Love doesn't always have to burn. Sometimes it just needs to be warm enough for two souls to stay. And in a world that never stops shouting, they might become each other's quiet place right when it's needed most. 8. Sagittarius and Scorpio when light touches darkness. The love between a Sagittarius and a Scorpio is a clash between someone who always looks ahead and someone who always looks within. Sagittarius lives on a belief in the future, trusting that everything will be okay as long as they keep moving. Scorpio lives by instinct, by unspoken wounds, by a sense that truth hides in the places most people are afraid to go. When they fall in love, it begins with curiosity, even seductive. Scorpio sees Sagittarius as so bright, it's almost suspicious. They pull each other into a universe with no clear way out. The trouble is, Scorpio needs depth, while Sagittarius needs sky. One craves connection through emotional intensity, the other through absolute freedom. If Sagittarius becomes careless, Scorpio retreats into their cold shell. If Scorpio becomes too controlling, Sagittarius leaves. Without warning, this love can only survive if both accept that their differences aren't threats, but doorways to growth. When Scorpio learns to trust without holding too tight, and Sagittarius learns to stay without feeling confined, they'll uncover something profound. Some relationships don't always make sense, but are still worth holding on to. And somewhere between that light and darkness, they might find a truth of their own. To love is to dare to walk into each other's world without a map. 9. Sagittarius and Sagittarius, two souls flying together, but are they heading the same way? When two Sagittarians fall in love, it's not just a relationship, it's a journey with no return ticket. They meet in freedom, joy, and a kind of honesty so intense it might overwhelm others. But with each other it feels like breathing easy. No need to hide, no need to explain, no need to promise, just to walk side by side. Two Sagittarians can love each other through late-night talks, through reckless plans, through simply vanishing from the world for a while without anyone questioning it. They don't need a lover to anchor them, they need someone who can fly too. But the question remains, who stays when the other gets lost? Who becomes the anchor when both are afraid of being tied down? Love between two Sagittarians doesn't lack fire, it lacks support when both wings grow tired. Sooner or later they'll have to ask, is love just a string of adventures? Or are there moments when we need to turn back, not because the road is tiring, but because an eye is waiting at the place where it all began? If they can learn to love without becoming someone else and grow enough to meet each other's deeper needs, then this could be one of those rare loves, both free and grounded, the kind of love only those who've gone far truly understand the beauty of returning to. 10. Sagittarius and Capricorn, between the dream and the plan. When Sagittarius meets Capricorn, it's the meeting of someone who lives by the horizon and someone who lives by the timeline. Sagittarius wants everything now, Capricorn wants each step to be deliberate. Sagittarius loves with the question, why not? While Capricorn loves with the answer, because it matters. At first they're drawn to each other like mismatched puzzle pieces. Capricorn sees in Sagittarius a belief in life they often hide. Sagittarius sees in Capricorn a kind of steadiness they never knew they needed. But then reality knocks. Sagittarius feels trapped in Capricorn's detailed plans. Capricorn feels uneasy with Sagittarius's sudden changes. One fears commitment, the other a loss of control. Without enough compassion, they end up hurting each other in the very ways they thought they were loving best. But if they can weather that stormy beginning, Sagittarius will learn how to shape their dreams into something real. And Capricorn will learn how to let their heart feel lighter. Then, love won't be two people pulling in opposite directions, but two people building a path together, solid, yet never at the cost of freedom's light. 11. Sagittarius and Aquarius, when two free spirits collide. The love between Sagittarius and Aquarius is like a meeting between two stars. No need to touch the ground, yet still shining brilliantly. Both cherish freedom, both reject convention, and both believe that love doesn't have to resemble anyone else's. When they're together, it feels like two kindred spirits, sharing grand dreams, unspoken ideas, and visions that stretch far beyond logic. To Sagittarius, Aquarius is a rare, razor-sharp mind, someone they admire and endlessly want to To Aquarius, Sagittarius is a wild flame, making life thrilling and impossible to predict. And yet, it's precisely because they're so alike. They may not fully see each other. Each lives in their own world, follows their own ideal, and both may overlook the other's emotions simply because they're too busy looking ahead. This love will fade without real presence, not just through ideas, but through action and emotion. When Aquarius learns to pause and truly listen, and Sagittarius learns to stay without feeling confined, they'll create a rare kind of love, intellectual yet passionate, free yet never cold, a relationship that needs no definition because only they truly understand it. 12. Sagittarius and Pisces. Freedom and longing. Gentle enough to shake the heart. The love between Sagittarius and Pisces is like the story of morning light meeting a veil of mist, both gentle, both beautiful, yet belonging to different worlds. Sagittarius loves through ideals, through grand visions waiting to be conquered. Pisces loves through emotion, through delicate things that long to be held. When they fall in love, something tender stirs. Sagittarius feels their heart soften under Pisces' gaze. Pisces feels awakened by the aliveness and sincerity that Sagittarius brings. But the moment always comes when one longs for the sky and the other needs a harbor. Sagittarius isn't good at lingering in tangled emotions. Pisces isn't good at explaining what they feel. Without deep understanding, they leave each other feeling adrift. Sagittarius, guilty for the hurt they never meant to cause. Pisces, silent and slowly drifting away. This love can only endure if Sagittarius realizes that sometimes a single gentle question can quiet an entire emotional storm. And Pisces understands that not everyone who leaves does so out of indifference. Then, their love becomes something both real and dreamlike, a place where freedom doesn't wound and tenderness doesn't make you lose yourself. Thank you for being this far. Sagittarius love isn't a destination, it's a journey. Sometimes radiant like a sunset over the desert, sometimes uncertain like the midway point of a mountain trail no one has mapped. Sagittarius doesn't love to keep anyone. They love to understand themselves more deeply, and if someone happens to walk beside them, it's not because they were held back, but because they too are moving forward with a similar belief that true love doesn't take away freedom, it makes freedom meaningful. No matter your sign, if you've ever loved a Sagittarius, you'll know. It's the kind of love you never truly forget. Whether it ended in silence or grew into something lasting, it always leaves a streak of light in your memory. Because Sagittarius may never make promises, but they always give something real. And if you're still on the journey of love, searching, waiting, or walking alone, leave a footprint in the comments below. You don't have to say much. A zodiac sign, a memory, a message to someone who once walked beside you. Because maybe the pieces that didn't quite fit back then will find their way back to each other right here in this space. Thank you and see you in the next video.